Hey everyone, it's Gina and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy this video and enjoy my channel because we talk all things curly hair and I really try to break things down in simple and easy to follow steps. I have the Curly Hair Care for Beginners playlist that is linked in the cards as well as down below. And this video is going to be all about how to make your roots curlier. I get this question from you guys all the time when you're trying to figure out how to make your roots curl up like the rest of your hair and just increase your curl definition. So I have tons of tips. I'm going to walk you through my styling routine. So let's go ahead and get started. Now you may have already seen my videos all about how to make your curls tighter and as well as how to get more volume at your roots, and some of these may be repeats from that, but a lot of the same tips apply, but I am switching it up a little bit for this video. So the first thing you're going to want to do is clarify your hair. I feel like I always start off my videos like this talking about clarifying, but it is just so important and I feel like it solves so many common hair problems. A lot of us don't wash our hair as often, and when you go several days in between and you keep layering on more product when you're refreshing and you have oil and sweat and stuff, your roots can just get weighed down, which just elongates the curls. So you want to take care of all of that product buildup by clarifying your hair. I did do a video all about how to clarify your hair, but today I'm testing out a new clarifying shampoo from Not Your Mother's. This is from their Curl Talk line. I'm going to be posting a full review on these products, including this one, in a video very soon, so make sure you subscribe to see that video. But this one is just a cleansing oil, so it's meant to clarify the scalp and also remove product buildup. But I do have other clarifying shampoos that I really like, such as this one from Carol's Daughter, the Wash Day Delight. I think that's a really great option, or you can do an apple cider vinegar rinse. So I will link the video I have down below all about how to clarify your hair, but it's just so important to remove product buildup. You really want to get that lathered on your scalp. You can also use a shampoo brush like the one that I'm using here to help get a deeper clean and make sure that we have all of that excess product removed from our scalp and from our hair. After rinsing out your clarifying shampoo, your roots should not feel sticky. If they are too sticky, then they might be stripped, or you might still have some product residue left on your scalp. And if that's the case, I recommend trying to use a sulfate shampoo. So I normally don't recommend sulfates on a regular basis, but using a regular sulfate shampoo can be a good thing to just remove any excess products. Or if you have been using silicones on your hair, that can really weigh down your hair and cause your curls to be more elongated, especially at the root. So after shampooing, when you're applying your conditioner, you can try just applying it from your ears down and really focusing it on the ends, at least to start, and then whatever product is left over on your hands, you can carry it up to your roots. I don't personally have a lot of trouble with my roots getting weighed down, so I usually apply conditioner all over. But if you're really trying to avoid your roots getting weighed down or too oily, then you could skip applying conditioner very close to your roots and keep that completely clean of product. So now I'm actually going to be doing an Olaplex treatment. If you haven't heard of Olaplex number 3, it is a bond building product. So it's not a deep conditioner, it's more of a hair treatment. I've done several videos on this in the past, so I will link my review and tutorial on it down below. If you have any questions about it, you can check out that video. But Olaplex basically helps to strengthen the broken bonds on your hair's cuticles, so it helps to repair damage. But one thing that I love about Olaplex is it really makes your hair curlier. So when you're applying your Olaplex, you definitely want to make sure to really saturate your roots instead of just applying it like you do your conditioner, and make sure you get it all in there. I even like to take a Denman brush and just comb through each section to make sure that I have the product evenly coated. And you want your hair to be pretty wet when you're applying this, that way it can really absorb. Sometimes product doesn't absorb that great when your hair is dry, so I like applying it to clean, damp hair. One thing that I like to do is twist different sections of my hair. So I will create tiny little twists all over my head, and this is called curl training. If you guys follow Felicia or Hi Felicia on Instagram, I heard about it from her, so I will definitely link her Instagram down below. But she loves Olaplex and recommends doing this curl training method when you're applying your Olaplex to help make your curls form ringlets. And over time, the more that you do this, your curls will eventually take that pattern, especially if you are recovering your hair from damage. This is a really good way to help encourage your curls to make that pattern. So you want to make sure when you're doing your twist to definitely take it up to your roots, because that's going to help encourage that curl pattern up there. So after I've gotten that Olaplex all saturated in my hair, I like to kind of massage it in a little bit. I'm going to let this sit for about 30 minutes. The longer you leave it on, the better. You can even sleep in it if you want to, but you want to at least leave it on for 10 minutes at a time, and then you have to shampoo it out afterwards. So once I've let this sit, I'm ready to take out all the twists. You want to be very gentle when you do this and make sure you remove all of them before you go in and shampoo. So after shampooing out that Olaplex, I'm just going to deep condition my hair for a little bit, and then I'm going to rinse that out again. And for the deep conditioner, I'm using the new Not Your Mother's Deep Conditioning Mask. Again, I will have a video review up on this very soon, but this is just a moisture-based mask. I really recommend deep conditioning once a week. But again, with deep conditioners, just like conditioners, you can avoid applying those directly to your root if you're worried about your roots getting way down and you want to encourage the curl pattern. And then when you go to rinse out your deep conditioner, so you want to let it sit for like 20 or 30 minutes. But once you go to rinse it out, you want to make sure that you really scrub your scalp when you are rinsing it, because a lot of times if you're just rinsing your hair upside down, the water is just going over your head and it's not necessarily really getting in there at your scalp. So by kind of scrubbing the scalp with the tips of your fingers as you're rinsing, you're making sure you're loosening up any product that got on your scalp, because a lot of times when I'm scrunching in at my deep conditioner and really massaging it in, it definitely gets up to my root, and if I'm letting it sit up on top of my head, it's settling down on my roots and on my scalp, and that can cause it to get way down. So you really want to make sure that you rinse it out fully before you go in and style your hair. One other thing that you can do right before you apply your styling products, like after you rinse out your shampoo and conditioner, is to wet plop. And by that, I mean you just put all of your hair up in a plastic shower cap and you just let it rest for a little bit. So that can help with curl definition, because right when we get out of the shower and we wring our hair out from water, that's really when your curls and your ringlets start to form up as they start to dry. So if you want to go ahead and get dressed and stuff, you can always just wet plop for like 5 minutes before you go in with your styling products, and that can also help with curl definition at the root. So now for the styling process, I would say that this is probably the most important when it comes to getting ringlets at your root, is the way that you're styling your hair. So a lot of people like to apply their styling products upside down, and you might see a lot of people comb their hair forward to help encourage curl clumps. So people might take the Denman brush and comb all of their hair forward as they're applying their styling products. But if you'll notice, when I'm doing that, it's really stretching out my root and kind of flattening it against my head. And then when I go in and scrunch, I'm really only scrunching the bottom half of my hair. So then when I flip my head back up right side, you can definitely tell that the roots are more stretched out. You're not really able to scrunch your hair when your head is flipped over. So I kind of like doing a combination of flipping my head over for volume, but then when I flip back up, then I'm kind of adjusting my hair to where I can actually comb through the roots and make sure I'm scrunching right at the root. So it's just a better way to make sure you're getting it at the root. Instead of completely styling upside down, you're just stretching out your roots and making the curl pattern looser. So for my styling product, I'm just using some of that Not Your Mother's leave-in conditioner first, just as an all-over spray. And for my styling cream, I'm using the Not Your Mother's Curl Defining Cream. I'm just using a little bit of this, and I'm really only focusing this on the lower half of my head just to get some more moisture, help with curl clumps. But I'm not really taking this up to the root at all, unless if I have a little bit left over on my hands, I will apply some to my roots. And then I like to comb through everything with my Denman brush just to make sure everything is evenly distributed. So then I just finished off with the Not Your Mother's Curl Talk Mousse, and I just like to smooth that all throughout my hair. So one thing you can do when you're styling your hair with your Denman brush is you can pick up vertical sections, and by that I mean when you go to pick up pieces of hair, make sure that you're picking up like a long flat section versus a horizontal section, because that's going to really help with volume, because you always want to be pulling your hair away from your scalp as you are styling with the brush. That's going to help with volume, and that's going to also allow you to get very close to your root with the Denman brush. So one thing that I've been doing with this brush is kind of twisting it one more time when I wrap my hair around it. And by that, I'm kind of letting the curl wrap around the base of the brush, which really helps get ringlets. And you can do this very close to your root. And then when you pull your brush down the strand, it's just going to help smooth that frizz down and create a really nice ringlet. But basically starting very close to the root is going to help it shrink up even more at the root and increase your curl definition there. I'm just going to do this all over the top section of my hair. So by doing this, I'm creating ringlets on that top layer, but I don't necessarily like to do my entire head because I have low density fine hair, and I find that If I do my entire head, it just clumps together too much and I don't have as much volume. So I really just like to do mainly the top section so I can have some good ringlets, but then there's still like separated curls underneath which help with more fullness and volume. When I get around my part, I definitely like to kind of zigzag my part a little bit. So that's another tip to increase the curl definition at your root, is to not have a super straight defined part. And by having more of that zigzag shape, that's really gonna help with volume and kind of allow you to get in there and scrunch directly at your root even more, versus it being straight and just more polished. Kind of having that messy part is really going to help increase the texture in your hair right at your root. So when it comes to scrunching, this is probably another one of the main ways to get more definition at your root, is make sure that when you're scrunching, you're really focusing on your roots, because that's going to help encourage the curl pattern, help the curls be more defined, and really just lift them away from the scalp. And again, just like when we're using the Dim and brush, we want to focus on lifting the roots away from the scalp instead of pulling them down. So you can either scrunch upside down, but I also recommend kind of lifting up various sections right at the roots and then giving them a good scrunch. But you want to be gentle so you don't cause any breakage or frizz. Make sure you have wet hands and product on your hands when you are doing this so you don't cause any frizz. So one thing I like to do after I'm done with my styling products and before I diffuse is plop my hair up in a hair repair towel. This is just a really big cotton towel. It's totally flat, so it doesn't cause any frizz or anything, or you could use a cotton t-shirt if you have that. And I just like to flip my head over and then tie it up to where the hair is sitting up on top of the head. That can really help with root definition as well, because you're kind of letting it dry a little bit as it's sitting up. It's kind of almost like an accordion, like if you were to push all of your hair up. So I like to do that for maybe 10 or 15 or 20 minutes before I actually diffuse, and just kind of letting your hair rest allows the cast to start to set, which is going to help protect it from frizz, absorb any excess water, that way you're not diffusing too long. Keep in mind, sometimes when you plop, it can remove some of your styling products, so I like to kind of go in with another layer of mousse after I take my hair repair towel down. I just apply a little bit of mousse to my ends before I diffuse. So today I wanted to do a combination of the plopping method to help my ends kind of set and get some of that cast on there from the mousse to help protect it from frizz, and then finish off diffusing right side up so I could place those diffuser teeth right at my root and give it a lift. And that's really going to help with curl definition so much. If you like to just air dry, it's definitely better for your hair to air dry, but a lot of times your curls are going to get more weighed down and more elongated when you air dry, because you don't have anything to help lift them up, unless if you air dry by plopping your hair, which you could do that as well, but it just takes a long time to dry. So if you try out using your diffuser attachment and place it right at the root, give it a lift and hold it there for a little bit and let it dry like that, you'll get really good volume and definition right at the root. So one thing you can also do is flip all of your hair over to one side and then place the diffuser right at the root on the opposite side. That way then when you flip it back over, you have more volume at the root. But now that my hair is completely dry, you can see how much curl definition that I have at the root compared to before. So the before and after, you can definitely see the difference. The before was when my hair was dirty. It was probably 4 days since my last wash and my roots were really getting stretched out. I also had my hair up in a bun. So all of those things can really stretch out your curls. If you do want to wear your hair up, I recommend using a satin scrunchie that's not too tight and just keeping your bun very loose or your ponytail very loose, and that's going to help prevent your roots from stretching out too much. If you find that your bun starts to fall, you can always pin it with bobby pins. So I do have a video that I posted. It's called My Easy Messy Bun for Natural Curls. I will put that video down below. So that's it for all my tips on how to get more curl definition at your roots. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you have any tips, please be sure to leave them down below, because I'm sure I missed some and I left some out. So if you could leave yours down below, then other people can get some more tips as well. I'm also going to outline all these tips on the blog post that goes with this video, which will be linked in the description box that sits right below this video. All the product links will be on there for the products and the tools that I mentioned in this video. So thank you all so much for watching. If you have not already subscribed, please be sure to do so before you go, and I hope to see you back next week. Bye everyone.